What's going on, everybody? So back with the trailer. Last time we were here, got the tail lights wired up and found out there's an issue with my 7-pin on the truck side. So I got a new 7-pin. We're going to be replacing that today. And then other thing I noticed is basically these lights are just absolutely hidden by the ramp bars. So I did go ahead, I got some new tail lights, new bracket, and I'm gonna be putting those on today so that, you know, I don't get pulled over and people can actually see what I'm doing. And then hopefully I'll be able to get the marker lights. I got the hardware I needed to get those hooked up. So we're just gonna be going through, finishing up the wiring, finishing up the lights. I do have the vinyl wrap. Again, time permitting, we'll see how much I get done today, but that's kind of the plan. So be wiring up some new tail lights, and then doing the markers at the very least. So go ahead, I'm gonna get everything out and we'll kind of go through the process and get it going. So what I've decided to go with is basically I'm gonna cut these, which is just a wide load flag holder. I'm not going to be hauling any wide loads. Everything I'm going to have is going to be within the outskirts of the trailer. So I'm basically just going to cut those off, put the bracket right there on the side, and now make it nice and easy for me. And then I should actually be able to reuse one of these holes for the marker light to get the wiring run through. So that'll be convenient. So let me get the angle grinder queued up. We'll cut those off. Don't forget your safety squints. All right, got the first bracket knocked off. I'm gonna go ahead and take the flap disc, trim this down some so it's flush, and we'll get the bracket bolted up. All right, so got that in. Let me show y'all how these lights actually go in. So you need a grommet, a light, and a pigtail. So first thing you do, aside from opening everything up, that's the actual first thing you do. Jody, Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stay close. So, get the grommet out, get the light out. Yes, you. I see you. Where'd you put your ball? Where'd you put your ball? So, grommet just goes in, and then light goes in the grommet. Alright, so cut the camera off because the bracket was fighting me. I know y'all didn't want to hear me grunting and heavy breathing trying to get it through, but I'm going to show you what it is. So, see how it's got this inner lip here? Well, basically, what you got to do is force the grommet through until that inner lip actually comes onto the backside. And then the grommet itself just holds the light on. So that's secure. It's not going anywhere. And then all you do from there is you get the pigtail, open it on up. And as I said, it is a 3-wire, so you need to ground it. But red's going to be your flasher, black is going to be your tail light, and essentially there's a little piece of tape here that you take off, and then this just pops in like so, and you can wire it. So nice and easy. Yeah, nice and easy to wire, thankfully. I'm just gonna run it straight up through here and get the wiring. Honestly, I'm probably just gonna T-tap these because I don't feel like running an entire another stretch of wire down for this. So, and I went ahead and got a bunch of T-taps because that's how I'm gonna be doing all my marker lights, is T-tapping off the tail light. So let me show you all how that works as well. Alright, so finally found my wire strippers. My dumbass left them out since I did the last video last week. They were covered up in leaves, but show you all how to do the T-taps in case you didn't know. And we are thrifty. I'm not using that whole piece of vacuum or shrink tube. I'll cut it in half, save the other one for another tap. So basically you start with the tap side. I'm going to take a little bit more off of this. You just clean up the end. Yep. Shrink tube. Get that on there. Crimp it. Piece of shit. Make me look bad. She got it crimped. Slide the vacuum tube over the end. Or shrink tube. I don't know why I keep fucking that up. I probably could have gone next size up. Probably will on the next one. But what's on there? Get your lighter. Shrink it up. Let the dog throw the ball at you until you play with her. Yes, that's right. That's right, miss. I'm needy. Sit. Sit. Good girl. I don't know what she did with the big one, so we gotta use a little one. But anyway, once you got it on there, find the wire you're tapping. And you just slip it on in. Close it up. Make sure it's in there. And this slides right in there like so, and you're tapped. Let me go ahead, show y'all, make sure it's working for me, but show y'all that it is working, if it is. Lights are on. Pretty sure I plugged that back in. Hope I did. Sorry, y'all. Nope, I didn't. Okay, never mind. I'll show you in a minute. Alright, so I got to hook up the 7-pin because I left that unplugged, and since I got to do it anyway, might as well do it now. Got this off Amazon. It's $35. Cheap, easy. What I like about it, because my 7-pin has the 4-pin on it, but it's just loose, whereas this one actually has it on the bracket. And then I'm actually going to there's a word I want to use here. I'm just going to zip tie it for now. I'm going to mount it later, but instead of taking up y'all's time and showing you putting another screw in, I'm just going to zip tie it, and that way it's on there and we can test stuff, and I'll just put a bolt in it later off camera. And that's how this one's held on at the moment anyway. It's just a zip tie. It's not like I'm doing anything wildly different. Move. Devil dog, stop. Stop. Yeah, those just temporary mounting, something to hold it up so I can test stuff. Now it should work. Well, once I hold the ground on anyway. I haven't mounted the ground yet. Yeah, you got a stick because you lost your other ball, dummy. All right, hold the ground on some green metal. Okay, or not. Sweet. Oh, that's why I'm just a dipshit. So, red and brown are the two colors on these wires, and I tapped my running light into my signal light. So, I gotta fix that real quick. These T-taps are kind of pieces of shit. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Let me just try and crimp one. Here it crimps. Too damn big. I don't like the terminals that they used for these. I really don't. All this just to test the light. All right, there we go. It's working. Cool. Jesus. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse it and do this a couple more times. Install the other side. Yeah. All right, y'all. So honestly, I don't even remember where I left off. I know I've made no progress with wiring up new lights since I stopped. So I put the new 7-way plug on it, and I still wasn't getting right signal. And so the other day I did some diagnostic. I unplugged the 7-way at the truck side, and I had voltage at the truck side, but not at the 7-way. And it was driving me crazy. So I was like, okay, has to be an issue with the 7-way. I replaced it. This is the old one here. So I was getting signal at this plug, but not at this plug. And I was like, okay, has to be the 7-way. Let me replace that. Hooked up the new one. Still the same issue was happening. I wasn't getting right signal, wasn't getting right stoplight. And so I just spent probably the last 45 minutes with a multimeter underneath the truck trying to figure out what's happening. And the long and short of it is that inside here, when I disconnected this, the pin on this side was actually bent outwards, so it wasn't getting connection. And so that ended up being the cause of why it's happening. But let me run you down how I ended up coming to that conclusion. So I went ahead, cleaned out that terminal on the truck side, cleaned it out real good, made sure it was getting good connection there, and it was still getting voltage there. So plugged it up, nothing. Unplugged it, kept doing that for probably 15 minutes, and then finally took a jumper wire and ran it to the socket, and I was getting signal from the jumper wire. And I was like, okay, so it's got to be something in this wiring here. Took off that tubing, checked that out, and it was wired up well. And so ended up testing at the 4-pin outlet, and I had signal at the 4-pin, and that's kind of what led me down the track of inspecting the 7-pin a little bit deeper. And so once I inspected that, found that bent pin, got it bent back into position, now I have signal light on the right hand side and the left hand side. So you know, just something else to check out for when you're messing with this stuff. You know, you really got to take into account all the stupid little things that could be going wrong. And I even have signal here now because I threw in that other T-tap on it. So yeah, so just something to keep an eye out for. I'm gonna go ahead and start messing with this side now and get this wired up. I'm probably gonna go ahead and call it a day there, honestly, because this has taken entirely too long. Well, didn't take long for y'all, so maybe I won't, but either way, we'll figure that out. Let me get the angle grinder moved over and we'll start wiring up that side. We'll get to cutting. Move. Stop, go. Got it. All right. You know what? I'm not even gonna knock it down this time. Stop. All right, get the grommet in. Now the light. Dielectric grease in it. It's in. Pigtail. Alright, it's wired. Well, it's in. Let's get some T-taps, finish the wiring process. And it might not be the right way to be doing this, but I just don't feel like running 4 more wires for those 2 lights. It's just not worth it for me. Strippers. Judy, stop, baby. Alright. Well, that didn't take too long. I'm gonna go ahead and start running marker lights. Hopefully we can get this done relatively quickly, and then all I got left to do before I deck it is landing gear and align the brakes. Cool. I'm gonna take a couple minute break, charge up the camera so it doesn't die on us again, and be back here in a few minutes. Alright, let's run some of these markers. Shouldn't take too long. And, once I get them all in place, I'll wire them up a bit later. Keeping true with my ship box built, I'm gonna put one screw in each light, and then got the extra screw hole that I'm gonna use for the ground. That ain't going nowhere. Alright, let me go turn on the lights. Yep. Now I just gotta do that 10 more times. Alright, we're getting places, y'all. Alright, so I got all the lights in place. I made the decision that the best way, instead of stretching the running light wire over, which is gonna make it harder to get into the sleeve there, I'm gonna have to basically solder an extension onto that wire and give it a little bit more length, basically. And I'm gonna be honest, I got a lot of trash to clean up. It's been a long day already. The video isn't gonna show, but I've been out here for like 4 hours, 5 hours, and you know, I just don't have the energy to do that 10 times today. So I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna finish the marker lights on another one, get the grounds wired up on another one. I mean, all in all, we got actually a decent bit done today, but not as much as I would have liked. So I'll see you all next time. Thank you for joining me on another Shitbox Saturdays. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good work week. Stay blessed. And don't forget, leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know, help me grow this channel, because eventually I'm going to run out of things to fix. And I need to find out where the budget to find more things to fix is going to come from. So thank you for joining me, and have a good one.